All right, so let me close this query and let's move to the next one. So let's save this one as authors sorted. Okay. Next one is identifying quite similar query, identifying top 10 authors, last name, title by sales, sort by sales, high to low. All right, so again, we're gonna need the same setup. So books, book author, authors. Since this is a very similar query, we know right away how many, what kind of tables do we need. And again, we will need the first name. Oops, I need to do this. First name or last name. We're gonna need the probably price, year-to-date sales, and finally, we're gonna have to calculate. And by the way, sort by sales. So we know right away that sales will have to be a sorter. So we're gonna put descending because we're doing the requirement says sort by sales high to low. So we'll start descending. We'll start from high and work its way down. And finally, we're gonna create a calculated field on so it has to be year-to-date sales times the price. So we can drag either column. Let's drag right year-to-date sales. And so in this case, we're gonna multiply those two. So we're gonna multiply year-to-date sales. Oops. By the price. Okay, and let's create an expression and let's name it total sales. All right, let's run it. And so for your assignment, you will need to copy top 10. And also do not forget the to paste in the SQL code as well. Okay, so let's save this one. Year 9 authors, top 10 authors by sales. All right, let's move on to the next query. The next query is displaying all employees in alphabetical order, last name, first name, job description, publisher name. So seems to be pretty straightforward, right? So main thing is identifying all the data because this query is a little bit new. So let's go ahead and create a new query design. And obviously we're going to need the employees table, but then job description, publisher name. So most likely we're going to need the jobs. And again, in usual settings, in business settings, you will need to refer to the schema of the database to figure out which table contains the fields that you need, and publisher's name, obviously, so it's publisher. So we're in luck. They all interconnected together. publishers and jobs are connected via the employees table. So we can extend this one a little bit. All right. So now all we need to do is to bring the information that we need. So we need the first name, last name. We need job description. What else? And publisher name, pub name. All employees in alphabetical order. So whenever we refer to employees sorting or any kind of human sorting customers, we want to go by the last name. Typically we go by the last name. So we're gonna alphabetical, meaning that it will start from A. So that would be ascending. And that's pretty much it. So if we run it, so we're getting an error. This SQL statement cannot be executed because it contains ambiguous outer joins. To force one of the joins to be performed first, create a separate query that performs the first join and then include that query into your SQL statement. Okay. All right, so if we think about the expectations for this query, the keyword includes all employees, right? So the existing left joins are attempting to bring all records from both the jobs and the publishers, tables. And this could be problematic since both tables could have a varying degree of records. So what we can try to do is switching to right joins, where we're bringing all records from the employee table and then any matched records from the publishers table. I actually, for it to make sense, it's better if I just maybe sort it like this. Okay. All right, so let's, so what we can do, we can right click on the properties. So the first one is jobs. Jobs is connected to employees by means of join ID, but we need to include all records from employee and only those records from jobs that were join fields are where the join fields are equal. Okay. Same thing for the join on publishers and employees on pub ID. Only those records where those records from publishers were where the join fields are equal. Okay, let's save this. And let's name it as U9. All employees alphabetical order. Let's click OK. And let's give it a run. Perfect. Now it's working. Excellent. All right. Let's move on to our next. And don't forget, you don't have to paste all of it in your assignment, all of the results. Just take a snippet. But I do need you to include the SQL. Okay. All right. Let's close this one. Next one is which publishers in alphabetical order had sales. All right, let's create a new query. So which publishers? We obviously will need a publishers table and we will need the books table. All right, so the question is which publishers in alphabetical order had sales. So we need to have a pub name because we're trying to find out which one of them. And we will need the calculated field that will basically show any kind of sales, right? We then need to group by clause in the publisher because we're going to publish the results by the publisher. And in the year-to-date sales, we're going to change the group by to a sum. And finally, we're going to specify criteria is not null. You know, as a additional step, we can also create a label for this. Okay, let's run it. All right, so we have 3 publishers. Great. Let me save this query. 9 publishers with sales. Okay. Our next query is what were the total sales of each publisher in alphabetical order. So again, we're going to create a query, and the tables that we're going to need for this one are books and publishers. All right, let's extend it. So each publisher, so we need a pub name and total sales in alphabetical order. So for total sales, we again need year-to-date sales, but we need to create an expression where we're multiplying that by the price. And we're gonna need the sum of all of it. Sum and we can, as an addition, we can create a label for this. Total sales. And since this is an expression, we're gonna... Oh, I completely forgot. I need this here. And we're gonna group by the publisher's name, but this one is gonna be expression. Oh, I see. Okay. So some of them were actually zeros. So we can add another function that will eliminate that. So I'm going to add a function nz. Save it. Year 9. Publisher sales. Okay, so now we got those populated by the zeros. All right. And finally, our last query is what were the average sales of each publisher in high to low order? All right, so again, we need the books and publishers. And we're going to need the pub name and an expression